Many people struggle with affirmations, not because they are doing them wrong, but because they are trying too hard. They repeat words with tension, with pressure, with an unspoken demand that something must change quickly. And when nothing dramatic happens, they assume it isn't working. But the brain does not change through force. It changes through safety. Neuroplasticity is deeply connected to the nervous system. When the nervous system feels threatened or pressured, the brain shifts into protection. Learning slows. Flexibility narrows. New information is treated with suspicion. This is why forced positivity often backfires. Saying something you don't believe with intensity can activate resistance instead of change. Not because the words are wrong, but because the system is not ready to receive them. Calm repetition works differently. It does not try to overpower old thoughts. It does not argue with them. It simply introduces an alternative without urgency. From the brain's perspective, this matters a great deal. A calm state signals safety, and safety is where learning happens fastest. This is why practices like mindfulness and mantra have always emphasized gentleness, not effort, not pressure, but steady return.
Mindfulness teaches the nervous system that it is safe to observe without reacting. Mantra gives the mind a neutral place to rest. Affirmations, when practiced calmly, combine both. They offer direction without demand. When repetition is gentle, the brain stays open. It does not need to defend old beliefs. It does not feel challenged or corrected. Instead, new pathways are allowed to form quietly alongside the old ones. This is how real change usually happens. Not through dramatic declarations, but through repeated exposure in a regulated state. If you have ever noticed that affirmations feel easier when you are relaxed or tired or drifting towards sleep, that is not an accident. Those are moments when the nervous system is softer and the brain is more receptive. This is also why listening matters just as much as speaking. You do not need to perform affirmations. You do not need to convince yourself. You only need to be exposed to something steady, often enough. Calm repetition teaches the brain that the new words are not a threat. And once something is no longer a threat, it can be learned. This is an important shift because it removes pressure. You don't need to feel inspired. You don't need to feel positive. You don't even need to feel hopeful. You just need to return. Again and again. Calm beats force, because force activates defense, and calm allows change. If affirmations have ever felt exhausting or frustrating or ineffective, it may not be because they don't work, but because they were practiced in a way that asked too much too soon. There is another way, one that respects the nervous system, one that works with the brain instead of against it. And when affirmations are practiced this way, they begin to resemble something familiar. Not motivation, not self-improvement, but a form of attention training, which brings us to the final piece. If affirmations, mantras, and mindfulness all rely on the same underlying mechanism, then what really separates them? And how can understanding this change the way you practice? That's what we'll explore next. For now, there is nothing to push, nothing to force. Just notice how different it feels to return calmly. That difference is where change begins. You can come back anytime, without effort, without expectation. Take what you need at your own pace.